believe the best thing I did was just come in here and listen. Well, it was a little hard in the beginning, but once you like break that barrier, get comfortable, I just started listening and just taking the coaching. Like, what more could I do? What more as a coach? Like the older I got, the more I started to understand that all a coach wants to do is just coach somebody that listens. So I just had to listen more, and then I started noticing like when I'm listening, it's really paying off. And stuff just started triggering. So why would I stop listening?
What made it hard?
I'm just hard with it. That's my nature.
In terms of your ability on the field, what do you think are some of the traits that improve this season?
I like to make plays in the football. I want some touchdowns. I know corner's not supposed to, safety's not supposed to score, but I want some touchdowns, and then I just think it's just a different, it's just like a different energy. It's a different energy. I just noticed like when I got here and I got comfortable with the guys, I see how like once we get collected, we just all start triggering off one another. So I believe from an energy standpoint, I just provide something a little different from the back end aspect.
How long did it take you to get comfortable on the field with those guys?
It took me until say a couple of weeks ago, because even in the spring, like I mentioned before, I was learning the playbook and stuff, but it's like learning the playbook, getting adjusted to life out here, and things like that. I was juggling a lot of things at that moment. I wasn't really settled in as much as I am now. So once I came back for the fall and the summer, I was able to get a break in terms of school since I got into the grad program here. So I was able to relax, get the playbook, look at it, watch more film, study more. So then when I was able to get on the field, and I was able to understand the position, how my body's supposed to be facing. And just in the spring, I just noticed there was just a lot of movement and things that I shouldn't have been doing, but I didn't know that at that time.
What have just been some of the biggest differences from here to UCLA during your transition, besides the weather?
I say concepts and the style in which we play football. Like I know this is more of a stack the box, run, maybe a little play action, pass. I was thinking about it. It's funny. I was thinking about it earlier this morning. Like there's just some games where I probably been targeted. Like I tell my homies, like I done had games I'm targeted probably like nine times, and they looking at me like that's crazy. But in the Pac-12, that's kind of like a normal day. So I say that's a big difference.
Being here the couple months that you have, obviously you're joining a defense that's been among the best in the country the last couple years. What do you think makes that defense just elite? And not to knock your last stop, but comparing it to where you were, what have you noticed about Wisconsin, about why they continue to have success in the manner that they do on that side of the football?
And first, I got to give credit to Coach Living, just the genius that he is, and just how he looks at football. So, like, yeah, just Coach Leonard, he's just a genius, and it's like the difference. I would say, I feel like I don't know, because last year at UCLA we started clicking. We was more selfish, like my last year. But I feel like years before we weren't as selfish. So I say what I notice here is people are selfish and they understand what plays have to be made, and they make the plays when they have to make them, compared to sometimes you try to do too much and you put yourself out of position and things like that.
How do you think Coach Leonard just helped you take your game to another level this year?
I believe just understanding concepts, understanding how we're going to get attacked, understanding really how we're going to get attacked. Because I feel as if once I know how I'm going to get attacked, then I'm basically in the offense. So even though it may look like I'm playing defensive back, but sometimes out there, Coach Leonard put me in a position to where I'm just as even as a receiver.
One of the young guys who's gotten
Rico, I love Rico. I talk to him, and I just think in terms of his game, I feel like because he's young, so it's right now. Like I said, even what I learned from like Russell Wilson and like watching like videos on him and stuff like that, is just never stop taking notes and just keep learning. So for Ricardo, for anybody that wants to level up, no matter where they at, you just gotta listen. You just gotta do your part. Never stop taking notes, and always try to be better than what you are today.
How do you describe his skill set? What do you think he does well on the field?
What I think he does well. If I were to tell you that, you'd probably use that against him. So I feel like I can't use that. You just gotta know he's a dog. That's what I feel like he's good at. He's good at being a dog.
You talked about trying to get some touchdowns this year. He has to have some confidence. But do you feel like you're coming in here when you're 1 year and you're that kind of shutdown corner guy, like the number one guy? Is that your approach?
Yeah, that was my approach. Just in terms of like, this decision, the whole decision being made. It's just because I always like, I just got to a point to where I just wanted more. Like I felt as if when I was locking down doing my thing in the Pac-12, like that was cool. I had limited time, and I still was able to get the recognition I did. So then in my head, there was nothing more for me to go. Like, well, I could have got first team, but technically, like in my head, like I said, I already got that. Like I already established that. So yeah, when I came here, I just always wanted to just do more and just put myself on that stage. Because now, you know, we're going against teams like we're going against teams like we're in the Big Ten. We're going against teams like Ohio State. We're going against teams like you know, we're not going against Michigan, but Michigan State, things like that. Like these are games that you dream of. So if I could prove myself as being that shutdown in this conference, then like that's honestly that's a dream of mine. That's a dream of mine, just to prove that I could really be a shutdown corner.
I know you weren't here last year, but you know, for fans that obviously follow this team, there's going to be a completely whole new group of corners that, you know, they're not necessarily familiar with. What do you think you have in that room between yourself, Alex, Cedric, Justin, and Ricardo, and you know, whoever else may see some snaps this year?
What I think we have the time spent on the field. Like when you're young and you don't play, or when you're young and you just start playing, you understand like this is, getting in between them lines during the game week, during college football, is way different. It's way different than high school. And I talk to people that there's a lot of mental barriers you got to go through just to get yourself as an athlete back on that stage of performing. So with time spent, I feel like me, JC said, with us being vets, like Torch and all that, like when we around each other, we understand, like we establish, I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm comfortable with my body. I'm comfortable with the things that I could do. And said, JC, Torch, like you can name them. We just all get to that point until we're comfortable.
Does it surprise you, you know, maybe how cohesive that unit's been, considering you guys haven't played with each other?
It doesn't surprise me. With that, it's a point of communication. It's just like, can you guys talk? So once you get past that like barrier gap, that language gap of like, I may communicate, I may like calling a man something, like switch something, a little different language, different terms. But once you get past that, at the end of the day, like it's couple 3, 4, 2, 1. So after that, it's just vets being on the field, being vets. So it's pretty nice.